to our next story. Okay, you guys. Is Kyle Richards out at Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? She has yet to confirm if she's coming back to Beverly Hills, and she says she's still on the fence. Don't forget, the report was leaked that the executives at Bravo are basically, like, the producers are like, listen, Kyle, if you're not honest about whatever little relationship you have with Morgan Wade on the show, then you're fired and you can't come back. Which I think, finally, producers, I think it's a new day at Bravo. I think they're done placating. I think they're done having their puppets. I think Bravo is getting an overhaul, and I think Bravo's cleaning house. We're seeing a lot of people fired. We're seeing Andy Cohen's feet to the fire, allegations that he's basically being demoted other than Watch What Happens Live. And if you guys are watching Watch What Happens Live, the show is dismal. The ratings aren't that great. The guests are kind of lackluster. Like, that's really kind of fading away too. And, they basically demoted Giselle by putting her at the second chair next to Karen, not, squaring away. They fired Robin. Like, they fired Lisa Rinna. Like, they're basically putting everybody on notice and on blast. And I think that it's a huge thing that they would publicly say, Kyle, if you don't start telling the truth and showing your life, then you will be fired. Like, did we ever think Kyle's position could be threatened? So I think it's going to be a new day at Bravo. I think it's very refreshing. I'm happy to hear it. I'm happy to see it, because Bravo definitely needs some new blood, some new fresh casting, fresh talent, new producers, and all of that. So with that being said, let's dive into this story. So Lisa Vanderpump, as always, does not mince her words, and she always comes to play. So let's first talk about Kyle Richards being unsure about her return, and then we'll get into what Lisa Vanderpump had to say about it. And I do have a little clip on Lisa being really super shady that we can watch as well. Okay, so this is from All About the Real Housewives. It says Kyle Richards reveals she hasn't made any decisions about returning to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills for season 14. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills OG insists she hasn't made a decision yet. During a recent Amazon Live, one Real Housewives of Beverly Hills fan told Kyle's, "It looks like you're rejoining Real Housewives of Beverly Hills." She responded, "I haven't said anything yet. I know there are reports online that I'm not coming back. Others saying I am coming back. The conversation is TBD," Kyle Richards added. The 55-year-old previously said her decision to return would be a last-minute choice. People keep asking me, are you going to come back? Are you going to leave? And it's always something I decide, last minute, she told Extra. Kyle explained, I think this season particularly because I have been so under the microscope. I don't know what she meant. Maybe this season was particularly hard. Anyway, not just, with the cast and the public eye, and it's been very challenging to navigate through that one. I'm just trying to figure out my life myself. So it'll be a last minute decision is what I'm trying to say. The OG previously hinted at taking a break from living her life in front of the cameras. While chatting with Access Hollywood's Housewives Nightcap podcast in February of 2024, Kyle admitted that she could see herself walking away from Housewives for a bit after this particularly difficult season. Now, this is also something to think about. Is Kyle Richards being so like, I don't know if I'm coming back or not, because maybe she has an opportunity to join Buying Beverly Hills season 3 full time? That could also be a reason why she's being so coy about it, because don't forget, Buying Beverly Hills, and again, Buying Beverly Hills is the reality show that her estranged husband, Mauricio Umansky, has about his real estate company, The Agency. All of her daughters are on the show. So maybe she will, join it. Season 1, she was in it for like a split second on a FaceTime call, but season 2, compared to season 1, she was much more heavily involved in the show. She was shopping at Hermes. She was popping in and talking to Mauricio and having these really hard conversations with her and the girls about the split. She was much more heavily featured in season 2 than she was in season 1. So with that being said, oh, and also one of the biggest storylines for Buying Beverly Hills was the Mauricio and Kyle split. That was the biggest storyline for that show. And that's really why it had a huge bump in ratings, because everyone was dialing in to see what happened with Kyle and Mauricio, because Kyle didn't give any juice or spill any tea on Beverly Hills. We all had to get it from Netflix with Buying Beverly Hills. So my guess is she's probably weighing the two contracts to see whether she can do both Buying Beverly Hills and Real Housewives, or seeing which contract will be more lucrative and which one will make the most sense for her to join. That's what I think is really going on here. All of this BS about last season was so hard. Oh my God, I could walk away from reality TV. Kyle, stop lying. I think she's trying to figure out if she can do both shows, and if not, which contract would be the most lucrative, the Netflix one or the Bravo one. That's what I really think is going on here. I think it's more of a business decision than Kyle being like, oh my God, this is so hard. Like, Kyle, shut up. Okay. When it comes to casting for season 14, a mini shakeup is already in the works. Like I said before, Bravo is really doing an overhaul. You know, Crystal Kalminkoff was recently fired. So is Anna Marie Wiley was fired. Dorit is also reportedly at risk of being let go or demoted to a friend of. Like, they are not playing at Bravo. They are really cleaning house. Rumor has it Kathy Hilton will rejoin for season 14 as a friend of. I think there's like an open invitation for Kathy. They're supposed to be starting filming very soon, late April, so within the next week or so. So we'll see with all of that. But of course, we had to have our OG favorite, Lisa Vanderpump, weigh in on the situation. So this is from page 6. Lisa Vanderpump is shrugging off Kyle Richards and Morgan Wade relationships rumors, because remember, again, the producers have said, unless Kyle talks about her relationship with Morgan Wade, she's fired. This was on the record. It's been reported in page 6 and Radar Online and Reality Blurb. It is out there. They are fed up with Kyle saying that, you know, it's nobody's business when that's literally her job. So they're saying, if you don't show us, you're fired. When asked about a recent Daily Mail report claiming her former Real Housewives of Beverly Hills co-star will not be asked to return to the Bravo reality show unless she goes public with her alleged romance, Vanderpump wondered why the world has to know. The SUR owner told Parade on Monday that she personally does not want to know who is munching on anything. Gotta love a little bit of LVP shade. She is coming absolutely through. And again, I think it's really funny because I think that I think Kyle would want to be friends with LVP. She had her name in her mouth all of last season, but I don't think that Lisa Vanderpump is ready to go back down that road. She asked, "How about that? I don't care. What do you've got to do, and keep it to yourself?" TikTok users freaked out over her response, with one jokingly comparing the Vanderpump Rules star to an old-timey villain. Another likened her to an unbothered queen, giving social media users a masterclass and responding to tough questions. I agree. I'm a Lisa Vanderpump stan. I love her. She can do no wrong in my eyes. I think she's great. That was such a Lisa answer, a third wrote of the classy and witty quip, which others labeled kind of homophobic, to be honest. I don't think, how is that homophobic? Like, people need to calm down. There is nothing homophobic about what she said. Lisa Vanderpump starred on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills from 2010 to 2019. She had exited the series by the time Richards and her estranged husband, Mauricio Umansky, documented their separation on the 13th season. Vanderpump starred, oh, that's right. Sorry, 1 second, you guys. on the 13th season. News of their split broke in July of 2023 amid headlines about Richard's close friend with Morgan Wade, a 29-year-old singer. While the duo have maintained in multiple interviews that their bond is platonic, they set tongues wagging with a steamy music video for Fall in Love with Me in August of 2023. The pair further fueled rumors in March when Richards left a flirty comment on an Instagram video of Wade wearing a cowboy hat. I have a question. Morgan Wade is, and not that it matters, because again, I always say this disclaimer when we ever talk about sexuality, it's from a place of love and inclusivity, but we do discuss it because that's a part of the human experience. But when we talk about it, we are all equal, so we can all get the tea, we can all get the shade because we're all equal and love is love. Now, Morgan Wade is bisexual, right? Because she was in a long-term relationship with this guy. I forgot what his name is. Who was a part of her band, who is now conveniently and suspiciously a real estate agent for Mauricio's company. He works for the agency. So don't you think it's weird that Morgan's long time and very, very serious boyfriend, like she was like, this man is wonderful. This is the love of my life. I basically started this band to be with him. I wrote songs to get him back. Like Morgan was like obsessed with this guy. I forget what his name is, but just Google it and it'll pop up. But don't you think it's a little suspect that literally the love of Morgan Wade's life, who was a man, just so happens to now work for Mauricio Umansky, when all of a sudden, and this was only, and she was with him only a couple years ago. This isn't like her high school crush. This was like a couple years ago. And she's been rumored to be with Kyle for a couple of years. So there is a little bit of overlap going on here. Now, isn't it weird that then all of a sudden, now Morgan Wade is rumored to be Kyle's lesbian lover? Now, we do know Morgan did date another woman in between. I think her name was like Carly or something like that. She was another reality TV star. So we do know that she has previously dated women and men, but I do think it's suspicious that the love of her life, who was a man, now works for Mauricio Umansky, who is Kyle Richards' estranged husband. You want to talk about PR relationships? You want to talk about it being a little bit too close to home? Let me know what you guys think about that. Dun, 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 dun. Wow. So let's hear it from Lisa Vanderpump's mouth herself. Let's see what our queen had to say.
Daily Mail is reporting that Kyle Richards will not be able to return to the show unless she comes public about her relationship with Morgan Wade. Do you have any thoughts on that? No?
Why do we have to know about her relationship? Like, I don't want to know who's munching on anything. I don't care. How about that? I don't care. Like, do what you got to do and keep it to yourself. Okay?
Lisa Vanderpump is an OG, and I absolutely love her. So what do you guys think about this? Do you kind of agree with my theory that Kyle is playing coy about coming back because she's weighing her options on whether or not she wants to come back to Buying Beverly Hills versus Real Housewives, or if she can do both? Because I do think that Buying Beverly Hills needs her. They need her on the show. They need the storyline. They need the Bravo audience, I think, in order for Netflix to keep the show going. So let me know what you guys think. And oh, thank you, Gail. That's right. Joseph Joe Link. That's right. Joseph Joe Link is Morgan Wade's ex-boyfriend, who she was like crazy in love with, who is now working for Mauricio. Obviously, Mauricio's like the top person and he's working underneath, other agents and stuff because it is like a little franchise. But I think that's a little suspicious. Of all of the real estate agencies in the world, he just so happens to land a job at Mauricio's literally the same exact time that Morgan starts to hang out with Kyle. It's a little suspicious. It's a little sus. But as always, you guys, put it down below. Let me know what you guys think. And I think actually, the bigger question is, do we need Kyle? Do we actually need Kyle to come back for season 14 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Or would it actually kind of be a little refreshing without her? So put it down below and let me know what you guys think. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's move on to our next story, which is all about Lala Kent sharing what Katie told her off camera and really what's